like Stephanie White has given us an update on the Indiana Fever carousel of injured players. Guys, for this one here,
The story they're selling you is that Caitlin Clark is returning from an injury, but the shocking truth is that the entire WNBA was the one that was truly broken without her. With the league spiraling into chaos and its biggest stars engulfed in controversy, her return isn't just a comeback, it's a desperate move by a league that realized it was bleeding out. Coach Stephanie White's announcement wasn't just a team update, it was a signal that the league's emergency lifeline is finally being plugged back in, but what they aren't telling you is that her return is about to unleash a storm of revenge that nobody is ready for.
Last time we talked here, you was here, we talked about the positioning, and you said the toughest position is point guard. Now you've had 2 point guards to go down, and you brought in Odyssey at a good time. Can you talk about her coming to joining the team and how you see her now helping you in this time in the season?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I think her ability to get downhill, her ability to get to the rim and play make for herself and others, it's what we needed. We needed somebody who could come in and who could take some pressure off of Kelsey in a way that Ari did, and being another person who can get downhill. And then Shea as well. Shea, in particular, when we lost Sophie, we needed somebody else who could get us organized.
From the moment she stepped onto a WNBA court, it was clear this wasn't going to be a normal rookie season. It was a declaration of war. The welcome she received was brutal, highlighted by the infamous shoulder check from Chennedy Carter that the world saw. But that was just one battle in a larger campaign. Veterans across the league seemed to be sending a coordinated message. She wasn't welcome here. Every hard foul, every off-ball shove, and every trash-talking interview wasn't just basketball, it felt like a targeted effort to break the very player who was bringing more eyes to their game than ever before. The league tried to downplay it as physicality, but viewers saw it for what it was, a bitter, aggressive pushback against the new face of the sport.
Get us into offense, get us into the right positions. So it's always hard when you lose point guards, and for us, now this is the think about Caitlin and her not being back yet, and Ari and Sid, having Odyssey and Shea coming in at this time of year is tough, and I think that they've both answered the call.
But the on-court aggression was nothing compared to the shocking betrayal that happened behind closed doors. The decision to leave Caitlin Clark off the U.S. Olympic team sent shockwaves through the sports world. The official reason was a lack of experience, but insiders whispered a much darker story. Rumors swirled that powerful veteran players were threatened by her star power and didn't want her stealing the spotlight in Paris. They allegedly pressured the committee, choosing team chemistry over the most popular player on the planet. It was a stunning conspiracy, a deliberate snub designed to put her back in her place and remind her that the old guard was still in charge.
Lexie, obviously, she had that big knot in her head on Tuesday and it's developed into those 2 black eyes. Just what was your reaction to seeing that develop?
I mean, just smiling, really, and every time I see her, I'm like, oh, poor Lexie. But I think it really epitomizes Lexie's toughness when you look at her and you see those 2 black eyes. I mean, she is tough as nails. She plays all out every possession all the time. And sometimes the result is 2 black eyes. And so I smile every time I see her. But it definitely is a picture-perfect viewpoint of the toughness that she brings.
While the world debated the Olympic snub, a quieter but just as significant drama was unfolding inside the Indiana Fever's own locker room. Publicly, teammates like Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell said all the right things, but reports suggested a growing tension. Suddenly, their team was no longer their own. It was the Caitlin Clark show. Every camera, every interview, and every headline was about the rookie. It's only natural to wonder if resentment was simmering beneath the surface. Were they tired of being treated like background actors in someone else's movie? The pressure was building, turning their locker room into a ticking time bomb of unspoken frustrations.
Because it's not doing great. I wish this was a filter. But this is insane. This is what I look like.
Fueling this fire was the media machine, which had become obsessed with its new golden goose. ESPN and other major networks transformed their coverage, making every game, every play, and every misstep by Clark a national headline. While it drove ratings through the roof, it also created a dangerous imbalance. Other superstars who had carried the league for years were suddenly footnotes. This non-stop coverage not only annoyed rival players, but also put an impossible target on Clark's back. The media wasn't just reporting on a story, they were creating a narrative that forced everyone in the league to pick a side.
Oh, and there's Lexie Hall. You can see both of her eyes.
And nowhere was this media manipulation more obvious than in the manufactured war between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. From their college championship showdown, the narrative was set. These two were bitter enemies. Every glance, every gesture on the court was dissected and framed as an escalation of their personal feud. While both players have downplayed the animosity, the media refuses to let it go. Why? Because rivalries sell. They pitted the two most marketable rookies against each other, creating a storyline of good versus evil, hero versus villain, depending on which side you were on. It was a dangerous game that distracted from their incredible talent and reduced them to characters in a soap opera.
The physicality of the game. We also talked about that last time we were here, and it seems like it's still an ongoing discussion going on around the league. How are you now handling it as far as managing with the team, getting them prepared with some of the officiating or some of the play? What are you telling them as the message moving forward?
I think the message for us is control. We can control. We can't control how the game is called. We can control how we play it. And so being disciplined, defending without fouling, making opponents hit tough shots, and understanding that, these are the best players in the world. Sometimes we have to live with them hitting tough shots. And so just being a little bit more disciplined in terms of how we're playing, on the defensive end in particular, and then continuing to be aggressive on the offensive end. We can't shy away from contact. We have to go into and invite contact.
This intense environment gave rise to a powerful wave of haters, but it was never just about her game. The criticism was personal and deeply psychological. To the old guard, Clark represented an uncomfortable truth. The league needed a savior, and she was it. Her instant fame felt unearned to those who had toiled in relative obscurity for years. They saw her as a product of hype, not grit. This wasn't just about basketball, it was a culture clash. Her detractors weren't just critiquing a player, they were fighting to protect their world from a revolution they never asked for. They claimed the Fever were better without her, more balanced, a desperate attempt to discredit the undeniable force she had become. Caught in the middle of this hurricane was coach Stephanie White, whose job became far more than drawing up plays. She was now a full-time crisis manager, tasked with protecting her superstar rookie from a league that seemed determined to tear her down, all while trying to manage the delicate egos within her own locker room. In every press conference, you could see her choosing her words carefully, trying to douse the flames, but what she couldn't say publicly was that she was captaining a ship through a perfect storm, battling jealous rivals, a media frenzy, and the internal politics of her own team. Her calm demeanor hid the reality of the impossible situation she was in. The proof of that impossible situation became painfully clear. The moment Clark was sidelined. Without her, the Indiana Fever were exposed, a team held together with duct tape and hope. The carousel of injuries began to spin out of control. Sophie Cunningham, one of their scrappiest defenders and vocal leaders, went down. Then Lexie Hull took a brutal shot to the head, ending up with 2 black eyes, yet still refusing to sit out like a true warrior. Hull's toughness was admirable, a symbol of the team's heart, but it was also a sign of pure desperation. The roster was bleeding bodies, and the team's margin for error, as Coach White admitted, was 0. Without Clark on the floor, the entire system collapsed. The Fever's offense, once a dynamic threat, became flat and predictable. Kelsey Mitchell was forced to carry an impossible scoring load, and while Aaliyah Boston had her dominant nights, defenses could now collapse on her without fear. The floor spacing that Clark created, simply by existing, was gone. Stephanie White openly confessed that she had to simplify their playbook because of the constant lineup changes. That was coach speak for a devastating truth. Without her star quarterback, she couldn't run her real offense. The team was playing duct tape basketball, just trying to survive until their leader returned. What the critics and jealous rivals seemed to ignore during this time was a cold, hard fact. Caitlin Clark was single-handedly propping up the league's finances. The numbers were staggering. When Clark played, arenas sold out and ticket prices on the secondary market skyrocketed. When she was off the court, viewership numbers took a nosedive, and the national media buzz evaporated. The WNBA was becoming dangerously dependent on a single 22-year-old. This wasn't just about one team, it was an economic reality. She wasn't just a player, she was the league's most valuable asset, and her absence was a financial disaster in the making. Imagine the crushing weight of that responsibility. You're a rookie, and you're not just expected to perform, you're expected to save an entire league. You have to endure cheap shots on the court, navigate a minefield of jealousy in your own sport, and face a relentless barrage of media scrutiny every single day. The mental toll had to be immense. This wasn't just a game anymore. It was a high-stakes psychological drama where every move was analyzed. The pressure was suffocating, leading many to wonder if her eventual injury was a sign that her body was simply forcing a break her mind desperately needed. This makes you wonder if her time off was truly just about a physical injury, or if it was a calculated escape. For weeks, she had been living on a battlefield. Her injury gave her a chance to step away from the war zone, to breathe without a camera in her face, and to escape the constant noise from critics and rivals. It was a strategic retreat, a chance to observe the chaos from a distance and let the league feel the full impact of her absence. It was a moment to power down, get away from the madness, and prepare for the next phase of the fight. Her return is now more than just a player coming back to the lineup. It's the return of a symbol. For Fever fans who watched their team barely stay afloat, it's the return of hope. For teammates like Lexie Hull and Aaliyah Boston who have been grinding through pain and double teams, it's the return of reinforcements. It means relief. It means they're no longer just clawing for wins. They're back to competing at full strength. And for the league, her return is a message. The engine is back online. The walking, talking economic boom for the entire WNBA is stepping back onto the court. And now, the revenge tour officially begins. But this isn't the same wide-eyed rookie who entered the league a few months ago. This return is the beginning of a cold, calculated mission. She's coming back with a list of receipts. Every cheap shot, every critical comment, and every doubt has been recorded. The Olympic Committee wanted experience. She's about to give them a masterclass. The veterans wanted to test her. She's coming back to dominate them. This isn't just about winning games anymore. It's about silencing every single person who tried to tear her down and proving that she is exactly who they were afraid she was all along. With Clark back on the floor, the real Fever offense will be unleashed. The duct tape comes off. Suddenly, defenses are thrown into chaos, forced to pick their poison. Do they guard her from 30 feet out, leaving Aaliyah Boston to feast one-on-one in the paint? Or do they collapse on Boston, leaving the most dangerous shooter in the league wide open to rain down threes? This is the dilemma that no team wants to face. Her gravity warps the entire court, creating open lanes and easy shots for everyone else. This is what Stephanie White has been waiting for, the chance to finally run her system properly and show the league what this team is truly capable of. Caitlin Clark's return isn't going to fix the problems in the WNBA, it's going to pour gasoline on the fire. The battle lines have been drawn, and the league is a powder keg of jealousy, ambition, and money. Her comeback is the spark that will ignite it all. Will her undeniable talent finally force the old guard to bend the knee, or will their resistance only grow stronger? The war for the soul of the WNBA is just getting started, and its most important battle is about to begin. What do you think will happen when the league's biggest star returns to a game that tried to break her?